In this video, I'll talk about the poetic devices and figurative language used in the poem Dover Beach. Literary devices play a pivotal role in shaping a literary piece of work. The writer uses them to bring uniqueness and depth in the simple text. Matthew Arnold has used some literary devices to bring depth in this poem. The analysis of some of the literary devices used in the poem are as follows. Assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, such as the sound of and o in hath really neither joy nor love nor life. And jumpment. It is defined as a thought or verse that does not come to an end at a line break, instead moves over the next line. For example, and we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight. Allusion. Allusion is the belief and an indirect reference of a person, place, thing, or idea of a historical, cultural, political, or literary significance. The poem contains allusions, as in the second stanza. For example, Sophocles refers to the great Greek playwright, and in the third stanza, Sea of Faith refers to the world of religions. Alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sound of love in to lie before us like a land of dreams. In line 2, the fell sounds of full and fair contribute to the opening relaxed feel trying in with the calmness of the sea. In lines 4 and 5, the gale sounds tie together conceptually with light, the softness of the sound evoking the way the light is fading. The fair sound returns in faithful folds and furled in the third stanza. The use of these many similar sounds suggests the way the sea of faith used to be full, creating a sense of abundance and also mimicking the way that, in the speaker's view, faith used to reach far around the poem. The poem withdraws these sounds after the conjunction of but in line 24, which moves the discussion on from how things used to be to how the speaker sees them to be now, changing the sound of the language to match. Alliteration is also found in the final stanza. Line 31 links la sounds together across lie, life, and land. The alliteration ties these three words together conceptually, playing on the double meaning of lie. The world both lies before the speaker and the speaker's love in the spatial sense, but it is also dishonest in its promise of variety, beauty, and newness as stated in the following line. Hath really neither joy nor love nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help or faith. Pathetic fallacy. It is a figure of speech in which objects are attributed to human emotions. For example, listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles as the waves draw back and fling, an eternal note of sadness. Human beings experience these feelings attributed to pebbles. Symbolism. Symbolism is using symbols to signify ideas and qualities, giving them symbolic meanings different from literal meanings. Similarly, sea of faith symbolizes faith in God, and tide leaving the shore is a symbol of lost faith. Simile. It is a figure of speech used to compare something with something else to make the readers understand what it is. For example, the world is compared to the land of dreams in the below lines. To one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams. Imagery. Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving the five senses, such as the tide is full, the moon lies fair, of pebbles is the waves draw back and fling, and where the sea meets the moon blanched land. The analysis shows that this poem, though seems a simple description of the natural beauty, has a deceptive pull to spellbound the reader. Form. Dover Beach has been noted by many critics for its unusual form. The poem is highly irregular and does not fit with any specific poetic form, and as such is considered an early precursor of free verse and other 20th century experimentation with forms. The poem consists of four stanzas, each of different length. The first stanza is 14 lines, the second is 6, the third 8, and the fourth 9. The poem shows a speaker trying to grapple with a subject that they find difficult and not a little unnerving. Humanity's loss of faith, in particular, the fading of Christianity. Accordingly, there is an instability to the speaker's psyche which expresses itself in numerous ways, including the poem's form. While much of Victorian poetry embodied principles of uniformity and strict obedience to form, this poem's departure from that rigidity signals a break with the past, which makes sense given that the poem's subject is also focused on a rupture from the past brought on by a new scientific learning that threatens and diminishes religious faith, as shown by the last stanza, in which the speaker predicts a new era of confused alarms of struggle and flight and ignorant armies. The speaker senses that the times stand on a historical precipice, a transition point away from the certainties of faith to the skeptical rigor of science. The resistance of standard form embodies the speaker's fraught mental state, which is brought on by worry about what will happen to their society when it does away with the moral and spiritual reassurance of religion. The use of stanza breaks follow the most significant developments in the speaker's mental journey, with each stanza focusing on a coherent set of thoughts. Stanza 1 deals with the speaker's initial experience of the beach, which shifts from calmness to disquiet brought on by the sound of the moving pebbles. Stanza 2 introduces Sophocles as the speaker imagines ancient Greece and believes that the tragic playwright must also have experienced the same sort of pain and doubt that the speaker is experiencing now. Stanza 3 develops the specific reason why the speaker hears such sadness in the sound of the sea, the loss of faith. And stanza 4 finally tries, without entirely succeeding, to build a defense against the future faithless world by professing the value of authentic love. Meter. The meter in Dover Beach is highly unpredictable. Any time a pattern seems to be establishing itself, it is soon disrupted. This unpredictability plays out both in the pattern of stressed, unstressed syllables and in the length of the lines. For example, line 10 features iambic pentameter 5 feet, whereas line 21 is a line of iambic diameter 2 feet. This restless variation is quite unusual for the Victorian time period in which the poem was written, and it contributes to the reader's real-time experience of the speaker's psyche, which is disturbed, worried, and crucially unpredictable. At first, the poem appears to be establishing an iambic rhyme, even if the line blends very, very from the outset. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits. These lines are highly regular, with the reliable shift from unstressed to stressed, creating a gentle rocking motion in keeping with the discussion of the sea and its tides. But as line 3 continues, a kind of metrical battle begins in which the iambic pattern tries to re-establish itself but is constantly disrupted. Upon the straits on the French coast, the light on the French coast is a pyrrhic foot followed by a spondy, two unstressed syllables before two stresses. This is unusual in itself, but that it occurs in the middle of the line is doubly daring and lays down a metrical challenge to the iambic opening lines. This signifies the conflict going on in the speaker's psyche between the outwardly beautiful scene and the symbolically troubling world it seems to represent to the speaker. The final stanza embodies this tussle between ions and irregularity too. Lines 33 and 34 are straightforwardly iambic, but lines 36 and 37 defeat this stability, considering, considering that these two lines introduce the idea of an uncertain future dominated by confused alarms of struggle and flight and ignorant armies. Metrical confusion plays a relevant role. The unreliability of the metrical pattern embodies the confusion, struggle, and clash that these lines discuss. Served with confused alarms of struggle and flight, the ignorant armies clash by night. The subject of the poem is about a rupture or breakage, as the world founded on faith is changed by the rise of science. Thus, the nature of the poem itself seems ruptured, underscores, and amplifies the poem's structure.